I am so incredibly honored. Wow. I think about some of these conservatives that I've met on this journey. Think about people like Governor Walker in the job, working really hard and, having the courage to do what's right. And then I think about some of them off the job. Like I remember seeing Representative Cory Gardner, sitting down with all of his children at this fancy restaurant, and they're just climbing all over him. And, it really made me have a glimpse of what they're really fighting for and what we're all fighting for, and that is the next generation, that's our children. And so I'd like to just thank Governor Walker, and I'd like to thank Representative Cory for doing everything they possibly can to help our country be a better place. I also see some faces that I recognize. Denver has kind of adopted me, and I'm happy about that. I actually recognize a good friend of mine, Mary Sue, who last year hosted a fundraiser for me and welcomed me into her home, and I wanted to publicly thank her for being here and for showing up all the time. Thank you so much. You're a great conservative. I've often said that it is us, the people on the ground level, that's going to heal this nation, not Washington. And I still believe that. My parents immigrated to the United States with $10 in their pockets and the hope that the America that they'd heard about really did exist. They pinched every penny. They scrubbed toilets. They were able to provide the necessities for all of our needs. As a matter of fact, they were able to send all 3 of their children, first generation college students. And may I say college graduates, all 3 of them. They weren't into wasting money. I have to say, I do remember the first day my dad took me to college. I took him with me to orientation because he is the fun parent. My mom can embarrass me sometimes, so I took my dad with me. And he said, Mia, your mother and I have done everything we could to get you here today. We have never taken a handout. You will not be a burden to society. You will give back. And my father's advice has stuck with me throughout my life and has also just been a vehicle through my life. As I prepared to speak to you today, I thought about that message that my father gave me and what it really meant. It meant to be self-reliant, to be independent. He was trying to build a strong character so that I could care for myself, care for a family, then go on to care for a community and serve in a city. And one day, maybe, he would look back at me and he would say, you know what, she was listening to what I was saying. My husband, I don't speak about him often, but I have to tell you, he's the driving force behind what I do. He is helping me in making sure we pick up where my dad left off and teaching our children that the world does not revolve around them, that they're going to have to give back one day. It's interesting because as a kid, I didn't say that I wanted to grow up and be a politician. It was more like, I want to be on Broadway, or I want to have a castle someday, or something like that. But I have to tell you, I do take great pride in teaching my children. And I do take great pride in letting my father know that I heard him loud and clear. It's interesting, as we listen to people speak, public speakers these days, you don't hear much about self-reliance and freedom. You hear things like hope and change, whatever that means. You hear things like, America needs a makeover. We need a new America. And you hear phrases like move forward, and people just kind of fill in the blanks. Elections aren't won on phrases like ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. No, they're won on what government can do for you. Their message is we are here to make your life easier in the short term. And what we need is we need courageous Americans to say we are not interested in making your life easier in the short term. We're interested in making your life better for generations. I know my parents, your parents, maybe you or your ancestors did not come to the United States of America for easier. You came here for better. You came here to be free, and that's what we have always stood for. Many people are concerned about the direction of our country, and rightfully so. They should be. But I encourage you, please do not give up hope. Our best days lie ahead of us. There are some things we need to do. We need to rebuild that American spirit and that American character. We need to make sure that our grassroots becomes engaged, that people are not just going out and knocking on doors, but they're engaging and they're telling their stories. I compare the times that we're in now, today, to the hard times that we've faced in history. And I can't help but to think that we've been here before. We've come through, we've struggled, and we've always come through because we strive for more and we strive for better. Our American history is not about easy. It's not about gliding through. It's about who you are when things are tough. I can tell you right now, it's easy to be a mayor when things are easy, when things are going well, when the sun is shining. But you know what someone is made of when the economy crashes, when there are floods and fire, and you're out in the mud. It's who you are when the tough things happen. General George Patton was right when he said the test of success is not what you do when you're at the top. It's how high you bounce when you hit bottom. That's our character. If you think about it, I remember hearing this story from about a boat. It was during the Carter administration, or right after the Carter administration, when things were going really bad and the economy was crashing, and America didn't really have the brightest light at that time. It was a story about this boat, the USS Midway. And as the USS Midway was patrolling the South China Seas, they came across this small boat crammed full of refugees. I mean, the boat was leaking. It was clear that they weren't going to make it. And so the USS Midway launched a rescue ship, a rescue boat out there to try and save them, bring them aboard the aircraft carrier and to safety. And as the ship got closer, there was one refugee man that zeroed in on this young American sailor, and he called out to him. He said, "Hello, American sailor. Hello, freedom man." The reason why I tell you that story is although our light has dimmed, we have always remained that shining city upon a hill, a nation conceived in liberty, that people would risk their lives all over the world to come to. And I believe that that's still true today. Yes, we're facing some tough times, but I'm confident that America will bounce back just as we always have, just as we've always done. On our road to independence, remember, we fought off the greatest military force at that time, the British Empire. We did so again during the War of 1812. We were able to end the atrocities of slavery. This nation did that. And when Nazism threatened the world, they looked to us, and we led the charge. And we did it again by ending communism, by winning the Cold War. America's might isn't great because of the military might. It's great because of the American might. It's great because we believe in things like fiscal discipline, limited government, personal responsibility, and most of all, freedom. That's who we are. That's what we've always believed in. I believe, as did our founding fathers, that people can manage their lives better than intellectual elites in Washington. I believe that government is beholden to the people, and that the only power that it possesses are limited to what has been delegated to it by the people. I believe that we have the power to improve our economy, our communities, and we can do that. We can deliver that message and deliver that meaning with malice towards none and generosity towards all. I believe that we have an obligation to care for those who cannot care for themselves. Yes, I believe that if we have the means to care for our neighbors and end their suffering, we should do that. But I also believe that the day that I need a federal government to force me to do that is the day that I don't deserve the title American. There's much work to do. And I wish I can tell you that one day, after all of the work is done, that we'll be able to rest from our labors with everlasting freedom and liberty. But unfortunately, rest is not for the living. Rest is not for the living because freedom is always fragile. As Abraham Lincoln stated in his Gettysburg Address, it is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that those honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we are here highly resolved that the dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish on the earth. We need to have the courage to tell people our stories, all of its downfalls and all of its successes. Because I can tell you right now, the liberals are out there, and they're telling their stories and they're telling their message. And let me tell you what their message is. Their message is, the American dream is dead. It's over. That government is your solution. Give up your dreams. The government will heal you. The government will save you. The government will be your hope and change. If you are poor, if you are of a different color, or if you're female, the deck is stacked, you have no chance, and conservatives are the enemy. And unfortunately, too many people are listening to that message. So what will you say? Here's what I will say. Not just with my words, but with my life. I will show them that the American dream lives on. I will show them that the American dream is not dead. I will tell them that they can come here with $10 in their pockets with no one to do it for them. The government is not your salvation. I will say, look at my parents and know the American dream lives. Look at me and know that that can mean you. Hard work, education, and thrift will take you far beyond what any government program can ever promise. I will tell them you can work hard, you can educate yourself, you can improve your lives and you can improve your life and the life of others. And when you deliver your child to the university, you will look her in the eye and you will say, you will give back. That is what we want for all Americans. The American dream isn't just my story or my father's story. It is our story. It's a story of human struggle, standing up and striving for more, striving for better. Our story has been told for over 200 years. Small steps and giant leaps. That took courage. From a woman on a bus to a man with a dream, which took sacrifice and the bravery of the greatest generation, to our entrepreneurs and innovators of today. That is who we are. I need your help in this. We need to rebuild that American character. We need to let our children know that they're not entitled to anything they don't own, earn, work for, or pay for themselves. Let us teach them about that American sailor, about the American patriot, so that as they walk these blessed lands, that people will look to them and say, hello, American patriot. Hello, freedom man. That is the America I know. That is the America we know. May God bless you in this task. When you knock on doors, make phone calls, and you're telling your personal story, please know, think of me and know that I am with you, that Utah is with you. I will show up when you show up. When you have something to say, I will listen, and I hope that you listen also. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless this still independent United States of America. Thank you so much.